Oh, I'm just getting ready to watch the live stream with you of the Mexico Beach City Council meeting. It's been a hot time in Florida, especially in Mexico Beach. And I'm watching as soon as they start at 6 p.m. We'll jump over there and see what happens. The normal procedure is the mayor will announce that the meeting has begun. This is at any city council meeting. And then they'll do the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. And they're live. Right now they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. And as soon as the formalities are over, I'm going to cut in. And they're over. Here we go. Let's see what's going on. And I'll watch as much of it as I can tolerate, be honest with you. All right.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Okay, moving on to mayor's comments. All right. And it really speaks volumes, really. So politics is not pretty. I'm not a politician, but I have learned a lot in the past 4 months about politicians. I am not always politically correct, and that is because I am human and with a heart for our city that goes way beyond politics. Now, people do not always agree. We don't agree with our families, our spouses, our children. But, you know, that's a good thing. That's really not a bad thing. People, children. But, you know, that's a good thing. That's really not a bad thing. People, but, you know, that's a good thing.
Somebody has their phone on and it's playing real loud, so.
Okay, so people by nature want to be heard. We all want to be heard. We've been up here before and asked, hey, just listen to us. We, the council, should be willing to hear different perspectives. We should be painting a picture for you guys as we discuss and demonstrate why we are voting the way we are voting. Because I get that question a lot. Why'd you vote that way? So right here in this room, we've observed both council members as well as citizens getting upset and leaving the room. And, you know, we are not unique. This happens a lot in every council at some point or another. We have observed council members saying, let's just get along. And we see council members do right the opposite. We have seen citizens come pointing our fingers, at least every one of us at this table at some point or another. So as we move forward, you know, I want to say that I was elected in April to serve a purpose. Since then, it just really appears a lot of times that there's a plan that's been put in place. We have all sat here and observed techniques of control used in this room before. We have seen council members work to discourage people, including other council members, from speaking up, and if they did, their voices were silenced or ignored. I have had that discussion with 2 of the members at this council today. As this was before I became mayor, and they felt that their voices were being suppressed. No one's voice should be suppressed. I do not control the council. I am a council member who serves as the presiding officer and I vote on this council. No one should try to control another equal partner on this council, equal member of this council. We will simply work in the best interest of the city. Now, this is where my loyalty lies, and that's where everyone's loyalty should lie, right here in the city and the citizens. The council does control the city laws, practices, policies, procedures, ordinances, and resolutions. The citizens still control who does this for them. As mayor, I will not serve at the pleasure of the council. I do not serve at the pleasure of the council. I'm a
right.
member of the council, as different from being the mayor part of my job. And the council does not control, has not got control over the duties of the mayor, as set forth in our legal document, the charter. As mayor, I expect to provide citizens with more transparency and accountability in our government. It is required by all levels of government that we have transparency. I took an oath to uphold, protect the city, the policies, the ordinances, our charter, the state of California's statutes, federal laws, at all levels of government.
You're in Florida.
What'd I say?
California.
Did I really say California? Bless my heart. All right, and that's a Kentucky thing. Bless my heart. Okay, our charter, state of Florida statutes, and the federal laws, all at all levels of government. I took this oath. I put my hand on the Bible. I said, you know, I would do this, and I take this seriously. Now I'm listening and acting on my job. I want to hear your voice, and I want my voice to be heard as well. It is, again, human nature. Regardless of if we agree or not, there should not be any more attacks on anyone. The goal should be to state your case, provide your facts, and the council should be attentive to our needs, or your needs. We'll move to council citizens' comments, and you will need to be able to come forward to the podium and state your name and address.
Tracy Gaddis, 1106 15th Street. I know that it's August, but I cannot confirm or deny that I'm playing Christmas music at my house right now. Having said that, this will be our 14th annual Christmas golf cart parade coming up. Last year we moved it to Parker Park. We've got so many new faces, well, old, new, and so I'm just going to want to touch base with everybody.
All right, I'm going to comment a little bit and fill you in on what's happening. So Michelle Miller was elected in April, and she defeated longtime incumbent Al Cathy, who was the mayor in Mexico Beach from 2000, I think it was from 2005 or 4 until 2014. And then there was a 2 years, because these are 2-year terms, where there was a different mayor. And then Al Cathy ran again, and he's been the mayor since 2016. And then in April, surprisingly, the underdog won, and that's Michelle Miller. Now, the attorney, Clint McCahill, that's him in the black shirt on the left flipping through the papers. The city clerk is in the pink shirt. And then the council members circle around the top of the table. Now, the new gentleman sitting to the bottom right in the tie, that's Chris Hubbard. And you see his nameplate there. It says Chris Hubbard, City Administrator. Now, the three amigos, you've got Vice Mayor Richard Iron Fist Wolf. You've got Adrian Drama Queen Welly. He's the one that walked out after he didn't get his way a month and a half ago. And following him in the matching shirt there is Jerry Bad Liability Smith. And he's earned that nickname because he said that the mayor, who the charter of Mexico Beach designates as the chief elected administrator and fiscal official of the city, unlike other cities, he said it'd be a bad liability if she was able to look at all of the city's finances. So they have kept her from doing that. All right, let's see. We're going to listen in on this public comment in case it's relevant.
You weren't welcomed, so I want to welcome you. Look forward to getting to know you. I decided to change my approach on providing feedback. In the past, I have either emailed councilmen or Mayor Miller in particular to provide feedback and really point out the things that I didn't agree with, that I thought could have been done better. But tonight, I think there's been so much negative, I want to point out the positive. Last week, a citizen stated some members of the council were part of the problem. I believe we have 3 councilmen that are doing a great job. I think we have 3 councilmen that don't have an agenda and that truly think through their decisions. And all 3 of you have an ability to maintain your composure and exhibit true leadership during these meetings.
Richard
So I
Wolf
want
hit
to
his fist on the
publicly
table,
thank Councilman Jerry Smith,
and they walked out.
Worley, and Richard Wolf. Keep up your good work. Stay strong even when a few citizens criticize you and call you names. Don't let them convince you that you're wrong. You have a lot of supporters out there. And I know you have a thankless job, so I really just wanted to say thank you, and the 3 of you give me hope for our city.
One thing that I've noticed only in Mexico Beach is that a lot of the citizens will come up with a typed up note like you just saw, and they look very similar. This gentleman's is handwritten and it's different.
And I actually came and did a lot of work after the hurricane. I have friends down here. I actually came and did a lot of work at after the hurricane and helped cut trees off of houses, and I saw the devastation. I was right in the middle of it, and I wept with you guys. I really did. And I can tell you, the city council has done an admirable job in the last 5 years rebuilding this town. I mean, it's nothing short of spectacular. We're back better than we ever have been, and kudos to.
The city's gotten $100 million in FEMA money, and they still don't have their pier rebuilt.
Is a good man, and he was very instrumental in rebuilding this town. So my hat's off to him. He did a great job. But the voters wanted a change, and they voted for a change last year. And I've been watching the city council members, or city council meetings, since Michelle took office, and the hostility of the existing members, the members that brought Mexico Beach back to its previous glory and then some. The hostility towards Michelle has been palpable. I second Michelle's call for civility. I think that everyone wants the same thing. I think that everyone is more than capable of governing this city and continuing on the wonderful trajectory that has been established since the hurricane. But I also ask that you respect the mayor's office and the authority that is provided to the mayor's office by the city council. And that's what I feel that I've seen is missing. And I ask that all the city council members respect that authority that's been provided by the city charter. Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments?
My reputation precedes. George Gill, 124th Street. I want to remind the council, first of all, what we all learned in 7th grade civics. Democracy is simply defined by government of the people, by the people, and when it talks about people, it talks about either a state or, in our case, a city. Very simple definition. government by the people. And we've all heard that government is, or excuse me, democracy is not a perfect form of government, but it's better than anything else that's out there. And I truly believe that. But I believe it when everything is fair and the playing field is level. Not when the playing field's been tilted in favor of one person over another. Then actually it becomes illegal. Mr. Hubbard, you did exactly what I would do. You applied for a position, and you were offered that position, and you accepted it. And that's absolutely what anybody would do, I would think. But in the process of this city hiring a city administrator, we went from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye, against the collective voice of the citizens. We started with the citizens urging the council to take their time. We went all the way to some wealthy real estate broker who's not even a Mexico Beach resident, painting this scenic picture of him and Al Cathy riding horses down the beach. And somehow we're supposed to translate that into the hiring of Mr. Hubbard. And I've been shaking my head ever since. Here's what I believe. There are so many questions and possible irregularities tied to the hiring of the new city administrator, maybe even some that violate law, that there needs to be, at the very, very least, a temporary injunction or a restraining order in order to stop any further action on this matter until there can be an internal investigation. Mayor Miller, if you do not do everything within your authority granted to you by the city charter, then I'm afraid what's going to happen is you're going to leave yourself wide open, and you're going to leave the city wide open for civil liability. Thank you.
He's correct. He's correct.
I wasn't gonna get up here. Larry Pop, 215 Kim Cove. Chris, welcome. Thank you. You've done a wonderful job before, and I think you're gonna do a wonderful job now. I expect this council, the people that we voted in, to work with this man. To quit trying to down him, to quit trying to say he's wrong. This is our time for our city to come together and work together. And it's your whole council that's going to have to do it. That's working together. I know, I've done it. I've done it for 8 years. You can do it. May not be always agreeing, like I said last time, but you work together and you work with this man for our city and let it keep improving. Thank you.
Good evening. Tim Linderman, 105 St. Francis Street. A few of you know, for the past couple of years, I've worked for the city.
These are
as a
typed up
volunteer,
notes here.
as a grant writer. And I'm here today to update the council on open grants that I've submitted or supported the application of the city of Mexico Beach. And I'm doing this because I'm concerned we may lose several of our awarded grants this year unless decisions are made and actions are taken to meet our current or late timeline requirements. I had hoped to put this on the agenda and apparently didn't happen. So this may take longer than my allotted 3 minutes, and I ask your indulgence to proceed if I'm not finished. So, due to the turmoil the city has experienced the past few months, you, the council, seem to have lost visibility for several key grants and timeline requirements that could benefit this community. I'm not here to place the blame on anyone, but to ensure you are aware of these grants and provide recommendations for moving forward. Let me first start by saying I don't wish to repeat the storm surge gate analysis grant problem that the council recently declined the grant due to the late presentation of them for decision and uncertainty that the state of Florida would still cover the cost share of 25% that we would have to come up with. In my opinion, even if we decided the storm surge gate was not a viable option, we should have accepted the grant and included the analysis of other options in it. Had this come to the council for discussion earlier, you might have had the time to make a better informed decision. As it is, we no longer have a storm surge or flood control option being developed for the west portion of the city, and this was at no cost to the city. We may have a similar situation developing with the planned detention pond on the 80 acres along Highway 386 and the associated $8.8 million stormwater grant. I'm not sure anyone on the council is tracking the timeline requirements for this, and I know there's some this year that need to be completed. I don't know them anymore, and I don't think you do. So I've given you two worksheets. Please take a look at the first one. The Coastal Partnership Initiative. This grant is for $60,000 for 2 kayak launch docks. It was awarded in June this year with a proposed start date of July. We have yet to formally accept this grant, which must be completed now in 9 months. Several weeks ago, I presented the award details to the council for decision. You told me you wanted to see the proposed sites before deciding on locations that are needed to proceed. To date, only 2 members of the council that I'm aware of have looked at these sites. We're running out of time to complete the many requirements.
I'd move to suspend the rules to let Tim continue.
Second.
Go ahead, sir.
We're running out of time to complete the many requirements of this project before we can start, such as
Adrian Welly was ready for that. I wondered why he had said he tried to put it on the agenda. Only council members can put it on the agenda, so maybe he was working with Welly to put it on the agenda.
the main canal location for this kayak grant and cancel the Parker Park location by the next council meeting.
That's a lot of stuff there.
America the Beautiful Fund. We received $10,000 for the Parker Park last year, and we are late on our 6-month update required by the grant provider, which entitles them to withdraw the funds. Recommend you decide on its use at the next council meeting and update the provider. Community Planning and Technical Assistance Grant. Last week we were awarded $75,000 with no match to develop a 20-year community master plan in coordination with our city's Hurricane Michael recovery and rebuilding process to evolve and grow the community within our vision and goals while protecting our environmentally sensitive lands and natural resources. For those of you who don't know what a master plan, it's a type of urban planning that pertains to the physical development of the city over the long term, usually covering a time frame of 10 to 20 years in the future. It is intended to guide the community's growth from a high-level perspective. Focus.
I'll tell you what I would do if I were the mayor here. Is I would have said we're going to stick with the 3 minutes. You had mentioned that you wanted this on the agenda. The council will take a look at it. Every council person, including the mayor, will take a look at it. And if any one of us believes this is something that should be considered for a vote, and it sounds like it is. All this stuff sounds very official. Another typed up paper there. And I would say we'll take it up as an agenda item. The council will discuss these as an agenda item at the next scheduled meeting. In my opinion, that's how this should have been handled. But it sounds like some of the citizens have council members put things on the agenda, or the council members put things on the agenda and have citizens give citizens what to say. But who knows? I don't know about this particular case. I only know that often happens at these meetings. But all right, let's listen to the end of this long one here.
Timeline. Recommend again the council review this grant at the next council meeting. Beach mats, the roll-up mats. The city received a set of 88 accessible beach mats from a volunteer group donations. However, installation cannot occur until a DEP permit is awarded, a process that hasn't started yet. Recommend again, the council direct the city administrator to start the permit process for these mats at Sunset Park, which I believe is the agreed upon location, no later than the next council meeting. Additionally, I recommend, if the city is interested in additional beach mats, that you consider applying for the Coastal Partnership Initiative grant no later than October this year. The last chart is the
All right. Forgive me, but I mean, I don't want to bore you to tears, but also either this is the most informed citizen I've ever seen in my life, or he's a sixth council member. The point really is, you're looking at a city that is late on its annual audit. The annual audit was due by the end of June, I believe. The city's received more than $100 million in FEMA money, and the mayor, who is the CFO of the city, according to the charter, still does not have, they have still not given her full access to the accounting software. She still can't see the invoices. There are things that she can't see. 2 people in the city have an administrative key. They can see everything. 2 people in the city can see everything in the finances. And we don't know where the keys are. We don't know where the administrative keys are. 2 people have full access to the finances. The mayor's not one of them. And there's at least 1 key. Nobody knows where the hell it is. And this citizen has a typed up paper with highlights that should be an agenda item discussed by the council itself. I'm telling you, this is incredible because, all right, let's get back to it. Jeez.
Other citizens?
Connie Reisinger, 504 Maryland. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm very concerned over this stormwater digging that's going on. I hope that each one of these council people, and Chris, you go out and look and see what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. I know I'm an old lady, and I'm not an engineer, but I knew that sand bypass wasn't gonna work either. I stood out there and told them it wasn't going to. They don't know what they're doing, I'm sure. I ran across the original plans for this stormwater. They were supposed to go down under the palms, that area, which used to be a big ditch. But no, they're over on Florida Avenue. They dug a spot and put the pipe in there. That's, I guess miracles are going to happen. Because they never put a drain there for the water to go into the pipe. So please, Ollie, go out there and walk it, look at it, and look at the mess they're making. Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments?
Hi, Jean Byrne, 101 Ocean Plantation Circle. The gentleman from St. Francis, thank you for the update. I have been very concerned, and my impression was at the last meeting that I was able to attend, the 15th Street Bridge seemed to be deceased. There seemed to be implication that the new development, which we were hoping wouldn't go through, when it does go through, they'll put in a bridge, and that was kind of the way it was left. If we have grants for this, we seem to have lost grant money previously from lack of following through on things, especially on the 15th Street development, which there was grant money to purchase the land. So I would ask all of you to please, if we need to put somebody in charge of the grants that can follow up on it or whatever, because we can't afford to lose money. That's just going away. Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Okay, I'm going to close the floor to citizens' comment. We'll move to the consent agenda. We have July 11th, July 25th, budget workshop, as well as July.
All right, so a consent agenda is there are two agendas. There's the consent agenda and the regular agenda. The consent agenda has a batch of items. The regular agenda, each item is discussed and voted on separately. A consent agenda is designed often for, regular fiscal issues that the council needs to vote on, issues that are not controversial, resolutions that are not things like that, where they can have 6 things that, they can say, okay, I vote yes on all 6 things, or we vote no on all 6 things. I've never seen a consent agenda voted down. I've always seen the entire consent agenda, all the items on it passed. So anyway, that's what a consent agenda is. And they're going to get to each individual agenda soon. But the guy sitting on the bottom right, that is Chris Hubbard. That is the guy that the three amigos voted last week to hire after they called one of the other candidates and intimidated that candidate not to come to the interviews. Chris Hubbard on the bottom right used to be the city administrator, and he is sitting there now at his first meeting.
Federal and laws and regulations, and as that, the city is transparent with our finances and hiring procedures. It has been noted and brought to my attention forward that there may be some irregularities during our hiring process that tainted the application pool and may
that's what I was talking
lead
about.
to unfair, or have led to unfair hiring practices during the hiring process for the city administrator position. I also learned that the city apparently, to my knowledge, does not have any policies and procedures for hiring that is fair and especially for our upper management and staff positions that are so vital to our city. It appears like other employees that the background is just a standard 10 years, do a drug screen, no background on financials or anything. It's, many citizens have brought forward, we say, we've said, well, they need to be vetted. All these positions need to be vetted well and carefully. And I believe that needs to be beyond a regular employee that's not dealing with taxpayer money. If there were irregularities in the hiring process or violations of labor laws, this could open our city up to 1 or more lawsuits. I am also concerned about the delay in our audit, and for what reasons, I can't see invoices still, have not yet been able to access those through our city software. So I think it's imperative that we find out, why this is happening. And for this reason, under my mayor's obligations and duties according to our charter, I am directing that an internal investigation be conducted. I am appointing Walt Kinsey as special counsel to conduct an internal audit into these matters. Mr. Kinsey is a member of the Florida Bar and the District of Columbia Bar. He has extensive experience investigating and prosecuting corruption and fraud, though that is his specialty. That is not what he's doing for us. He is not being asked to investigate any kind of corruption or fraud. Our goal is to protect our city against unfair hiring practices, as mentioned, and he is a member of our community. I would ask that we all cooperate with Mr. Kinsey's investigation, and Mr. Kinsey has agreed to do this pro bono. So I will not finalize the employment contract until the conclusion of the investigation and the council is given a report of this investigation. If the investigation reveals that there were any, in fact, irregularities or violations that cause an unfair hiring practice or ethical issue that's by the sunshine laws, we may have to re-advertise the position and give everyone a fair chance to apply for this position. So,
Is this the dictatorship? or is
point of order?
No. Calm down.
All right, so
Wow.
I can see that, you know,
Wow.
some of you are upset. Remember that the council, you have your time to, everybody has their time to the floor, and, we'll just move forward with our next part of our agenda.
Oh, you can't just do that now. Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
All right, point of order. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm asking Clint, for leadership into what you just said you was gonna do.
I don't think she has the power to unilaterally declare that there could be an internal investigation and point on her own who's gonna conduct that investigation.
Okay. I am not directing anyone in the city to do anything. I am simply telling you that we have, there is a volunteer pro bono investigation by special counsel into the hiring processes before I sign a contract for the new city administrator, and the results of the investigation will be presented to the council and the people, and we'll go from there at that time.
I don't think you can do that. I'm not. I'm asking one more time. You.
I don't think that the mayor has the power to unilaterally appoint someone to do an internal investigation without the board approving.
And we done hired him and approved his contract.
Correct.
But the contract is not, the contract has not been signed.
Council has, Mr. Miller, the council.
Well,
has-
I've got to sign it, and I have to feel good about signing it, and we are possibly going to have litigation.
Well, man,
So-
let's have the litigation after we move on forward with what we got. Let's not, will
Who
you find
Okay.
the one that told you we're gonna have litigation?
Okay, so,
I'm not in.
Who's the one that told you we're gonna have litigation?
okay. Well, you told me that my signature on this, contract was ceremonial.
Well, it is.
It is. It's not ceremonial. If you're putting a contract between the city and it's official document, you're putting between
It
the
is.
city and this gentleman, it's an
But
official
the board
document.
voted, the council voted to hire him.
That's fine.
And to prove.
And I think the council could appoint someone else to sign the contract.
Whoa.
You recommend.
Okay, so.
I don't recommend anybody. I'm
In
just
the
gonna do-
charter, it reads, under pro tem, that shall perform the duties of the mayor in the event that the office of the mayor becomes vacant, that the mayor is unable to perform his or her, should say, duties by reason of absence from the city, I am not absent, or by the event of incapacity, being incapacitated. I am not. I am just refusing. And you know what? It's not the first time a mayor in this city has refused to sign a contract.
Mayor, you seem to have not liked the vote, so now you're gonna do whatever you can not to have it go through.
No, sir.
This council
I
approved
think that
the
this-
contract to Mr. Hubbard.
Wow. The city attorney is arguing with the mayor.
I'm gonna run to that.
Do you have anything else to say? Are you finished?
Ms. Miller.
Sorry, you finished. I'm
Ms.
just
Miller.
asking you yes or no.
Ms. Miller.
Don't address me, address them if you have something to say.
I'm listening, Ms. Miller. Let's calm down.
Miss Miller, not
Let's
Mayor
listen
Miller.
to What we hired this man right here to do. And let's do what he says different. That's the bid. We hired the man, and I don't know, well, I don't reckon nobody can make you sign his contract, but it was a 3-2 vote that we hired and we approved his contract.
And also, there were some possible irregularities in the hiring process.
The council approved it.
So we can
Let's
move forward.
move, let's move forward and sign the man's contract, and let's
Nope.
move on. And then if you
Wow.
want to drag, if you want to calling council, I hope you're not gonna do it at the city's expense.
This is pro
Pro
bono.
bono. He doesn't know what pro bono
Ready
means.
to move forward?
I want one more time, Clint. I want it to be legal. I want you to speak. This is what she's doing,
I've said it twice. I don't think I need to say it again.
and you won't sign
Do
the
you want to
contract?
stop me?
No, ma'am. What
Okay,
means
let's
stop
move
you?
on.
Sign
All
the
right.
man's contract. The
All right.
council is
Wow.
voted to approve the man's contract. Now, why don't you sign it? I'm asking you, why don't you,
I'm
besides
not
what you,
comfortable with the contract being signed for an employee that there was irregularities during the hiring process.
And what
Okay,
irregularities with that?
so
wait a minute, now let him talk now, Ms. Miller.
I've got 6 of them.
this is,
We done had the citizen comments too,
yeah.
earlier. And this is
I think you
council.
need to be done, because I think maybe other people may want to talk. Would you like to pass that on?
And I might come back. How about that?
Well, if I call her, you both
Go ahead.
definitely
I
can.
can talk like you can now.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Do you have anything, Linda?
Yeah, I think a lot of citizens were concerned about why we rushed so quickly into choosing a candidate when we only had 2 interviews. Many citizens were concerned about
How
that.
weak you did.
Well, I think people felt pressured. People felt like perhaps, maybe, city council members had gotten together ahead of time and had some discussions about it.
Whoa.
Going back to the phone call fiasco situation.
Yep.
There were a lot of concerns, so to clear the air, why not have an investigation and make sure there were no irregularities done? It was
Right.
so rushed, we didn't have time to make a counter offer. There was some wording that it was discussed, we didn't have time to make a motion to change things. There were certain things in the contract that it was such a push, hurry, 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 bam, 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 done, that made it questionable right there, the speed that y'all felt necessary to make this happen. So many citizens were concerned that there were some irregularities, if you want to choose that word, that perhaps happened. Maybe there were meetings that went on that should not have happened, because that would have been in violation of the Sunshine Law.
Are you accusing somebody?
And no, I don't think she's accusing anybody. Well, I can't speak for you, so I apologize.
I cannot believe that the city attorney is injecting himself like this. Wow.
Nobody has accused anybody of anything. But if there was some violations of the Sunshine Law, being I'm the expert on this,
Because she was prosecuted for it last year by state attorney Larry Bassford, and they had to drop it, of course, because it was just designed to prevent her from ever becoming the mayor, and it didn't work. Wow.
and, if Mr. Hubbard's willing to set us interim, being paid what Mr. Mel is being paid per hour until we get this investigation done and the hiring process, he's welcome to reapply. That's my, opinion. We're just,
I'm gonna have to reapply at the end of the investigation?
if we have to go into if we have an investigation, we have to go into.
I think you're kind of opening up some civil liability.
Wow. Threatening.
I think
The city attorney is basically threatening a lawsuit against the mayor.
lawsuits in.
For no reason.
Good.
Wow.
Good. 2 words, unfair tactics. We made an offer to Mr. Hubbard. He made a counter offer to us. We accepted that offer as a council 6 days ago. Mr. Hubbard accepted the offer, and the council also had, or the city administrator, the interim, had a conversation with him on the phone. And they both talked, they came up with a day that he would report. He's already served 2 days here. Mel followed up even with a confirmation email that he accepted the position. We have a valid contract. Mr. Hubbard has been working for 2 days already for the city. The question we're asking ourselves is, can we force Mr. Hubbard to accept a new contract? Short answer is no, it's illegal. He's already accepted it. There's already been conversation, there's a phone conversation. We
There
voted
have been a
him in
couple
at this
phone
council.
conversations.
You can't change the terms unless you're willing to sit down with the parties, the 2 parties, and make a change. We haven't even done that. You're, use the word the audience use, dictating what we're gonna do.
One audience member.
We have a valid contract. We need to move forward and let this guy do what he's qualified to do. Just what Mr. Tim said here and everything that we have to do. I mean, stuff's going by the wayside. We're not getting work done. We need to get work done. I'll give you the 2 words I said, unfair tactics. Those are the words this city needs to worry about, because that's what you'll see on the top of the page when we do get our lawsuit.
A lawsuit, huh?
Unfair hiring practices. Would you like to say anything before we move on?
I'm ready to talk about golf carts.
Great. All right.
Smart man there, Adrian. So Adrian Welly and the guy in the matching shirt, they're the ones who called one of the candidates and intimidated him to drop out the day before the interviews. Wow. Adrian Welly was smart. He said, nope, let's talk about golf carts. Maybe he is as smart as he says he is.
Not out of the country or not available.
Okay.
But apparently Clint thinks I'm ceremonial, so y'all have a ceremony. Okay, moving on to our discussion about golf carts.
Are you our city manager? That's all, I mean, somehow though we
He's been
got
working
lost.
2 days without a contract.
I thought I was hired as city manager, yes.
Point of order. Point of order.
And the council voted 3-2 to hire him and approved the contract.
Point of order.
Out of order, and let's move on.
There you go.
No, you can talk to him after.
You're out of order.
You're out of order, let's just.
Who told me I was out of order?
I'm telling you, you're out of order. Point of order, let's move on, please.
We don't need to do that. I'm talking, I got just as much right to talk as you.
All right, I would like to have this gentleman removed from
You can't
order.
do that.
Okay, so let me do this. Let me call a recess and let everybody,
You can't do that in a motion.
yeah, I
No, ma'am.
call
The
recess.
the
Yep.
proper rules do not get you
Robert
fired.
rules, I can call a 10-minute recess, please. Everybody get yourself together and let's come back and talk about golf carts.
Wow, how about that?
10 minutes, you can talk 10 minutes any way y'all want to.
Okay, I was gonna say, boy, now's the time to listen, right? Because the stuff you'll hear in the audience, they're in recess. Holy smokes! All right, so let me explain what's going on here. So here's the controversy. When Michelle Miller, when she was elected by the voters in Mexico Beach in April, it was a surprise to everybody because she was a big underdog. She gets elected and immediately, and remember, Mexico Beach is different. The city charter is different than Lynn Haven or Panama City Beach or Panama City. They have a city manager. They're a council manager form of government, okay, where the mayor is pretty much ceremonial and is the chairman of or chairwoman of the meetings. Wow. But Mexico Beach is different. I'll show you. Since we have a minute, let me show you. Don't believe me? Just watch. So here is. See if I have it. I do have it here. Look at this. This is the city charter for Mexico Beach. The mayor. By the way, the city was founded in 1967. A 2015 legal review said that the charter was renewed, although there's no documents of it, in 1985. And so that's the history of the city charter. The mayor elected as aforesaid shall be a voting member of the council and presiding officer. The mayor shall be recognized as head of city government for all ceremonial purposes, by the governor for purposes of military law or for service of process, execution of contracts. Execution of contracts. The contract's not valid until she signs it, and she's not willing to sign it until there's an internal investigation about the process, especially after 2 council members called and intimidated one of the 3 candidates who scored higher in the rankings than the guy sitting there, by the way. Wow, I'll tell you what, if I had to put my signature on it, I would do the same thing. See that? Deeds and other documents, and as city official to represent the city in all agreements with other governmental entities or certifications to other governmental entities. The mayor shall be the chief elected administrative and fiscal official for the city. The powers and duties of the mayor shall be as such as conferred upon him by state laws, this charter, and the city council. You say, Bernie, it says the city council too. Look, there's a doctrine in law called the rules of construction. You say, how do you know? Because I'm Bernie the attorney. That's how I know. No, I'm not really an attorney. I just play one in real life and sometimes have to beat them when they sue me for defamation. So yeah, you can call me Bernie the attorney. I've learned a few things. So the rules of construction dictate that there is a hierarchy there. So it said the state, the charter, and the council, and it's in that order. In other words, the charter cannot supersede the state laws, state statutes. And likewise, the council cannot supersede the charter, the rules of construction. So just because they're all listed there doesn't mean that, but these idiots would think that that gives the council authority to give her job description, as Iron Fist would say. Wow. How about this? So Jerry Bad Liability Smith, be a bad liability. You sign that document. If you don't sign it, if you be a bad liability, if this broad starts looking at the invoices, we got to bring in this guy, who's, by the way, the boyfriend of the former city. Unbelievable. Chris Hubbard, who was sitting there, is the boyfriend of the city accountant who abruptly resigned the month after she was elected. These three guys, for whatever reason, really want to make sure that they appoint the fox to watch the hen house. I mean, the city administrator to watch over the finances. Holy smokes. So Jerry Bad Liability Smith said, I got every right to talk like you do. So the city charter also says that the presiding officer, the mayor, operates under Robert's Rules of Order. He cannot talk until he has the floor. And she decides, and more importantly, the agenda decides. So there will be time for everybody to express their concerns at the end of this meeting during the council comments. But right now, a council member doesn't get to shout over the presiding officer. And if the council member does, throughout the state of Florida, there have been mayors, and it's not uncommon, to order the bailiff, essentially, in this case, the sheriff's deputy, to remove the board member who is violating Robert's Rules of Order, which means violating the charter. So she can have them removed. And then she can adjourn the meeting until they're ready to follow the rules. They've been following their own rules. So what she said is, I'm not signing this contract. I'm not finalizing the contract until an internal investigation from a qualified special counsel lawyer, pro bono, which someone needs to tell Jerry Lewis, Jerry Smith, that pro bono means it doesn't cost the city anything. So essentially she's saying, I'm not ordering anybody in the city to do anything, meaning city employees to do anything. But I'm not signing that contract. And the city attorney, Clint McCahill, says, well, I think somebody else can sign it then. What? What makes you think that, city attorney? Well, that's his legal opinion, Bernie. Are you crazy? Boy, did you see how quick Mayor Miller said the charter dictates who signs it? And the vice mayor, which is Richard Iron Fist Wolf, he can't sign it according to the charter, which supersedes the council unless I'm absent or what was the other word? Debilitated or something. Incapacitated. And she said, I'm neither. So that contract's not getting signed. Now, this internal investigation will be voluntary. She said, so when it's completed, everybody will see it. And if all the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, there's nothing wrong, then she'll sign the contract. But if there were sunshine law violations or something like that, then she may not sign it. They may have to rebid it. These three guys, let me ask you a question. How desperate do these three guys look to block this is all about blocking the invoices. The CFO of the city still does not have full access to the check register, to the invoices, to the credit card receipts, to the bid process after the city got $100 million in FEMA money. She still doesn't have it. The software accounting company that the city has hired gave 2 administrative rights keys. Let's see, it's available. Wow, I think they shut the video down for good. Let's see if it starts up again. Let me double check and make sure that. Holy smokes. Let's see if they started back up again. Wouldn't that be something if they try to do the rest of the meeting not on video? Oh, they're live. Let's get back to it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to our.
No. You don't talk, Rick, you want me to, I don't want to talk over you.
Sorry.
I haven't appointed either one of y'all to talk, to be
No,
honest with
ma'am,
you.
you don't have to
Presiding
appoint
officer.
me. You don't have to appoint, I got just as much right as you.
Marty, I'm
Man sitting over here that we hired needs to know if he has a job. Clint, one more time, yes or no?
I think,
No, I don't want you to think.
okay.
No,
Hey,
ma'am.
that's rude.
No, ma'am, it's not, ma'am, rude, you don't know what rude is right there. You
Please,
get me for
order.
rude. You don't get me for rude.
Would you please come to order?
I'm in order. Clint,
I have not, I've asked you to come to order. That means you stop talking for
no,
a
ma'am,
minute.
you can't stop me talking. That's the problem here. You can't stop me from talking. I have just as much right to talk as you do.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Because
Clint.
you got the other
Please.
3 minutes, please, on the clock.
You can't do that to me. I'm on the city council here. That's for the citizens. Thank you. Clint, one more time. Let's get this over with.
I think that this city council voted 3-2 to accept the counteroffer that Mr. Hubbard offered the town, and they accepted. He has been here for 2 days. I think we have a valid contract, and that's it.
And she don't sign the contract, but for whatever reason, she don't want to, this contract, I mean, that's what I'm trying to ask you. How do we get by this? How do we move on? If she don't sign it, is Mr.
I'll sign it when the investigation is
We don't-
over. I mean,
ma'am.
that's what I'm saying.
She needs to call him out of order and have him removed. You can only speak if you have the floor. Why is she giving him the floor?
Rick signed the
I haven't
contract?
unilaterally done anything other than saying I've asked for an investigation,
At this
internal,
particular,
and
at this
this
particular
is
point,
it.
I almost don't think it matters whether the contract's signed or not. We
Well,
have a
he's
valid
been working for
contract.
2 days.
That's the city
without it, so-
attorney. Wow.
And I think he's gonna probably show up tomorrow, and continue on with his job.
Okay, can
So
we
pursuant to
continue
the
on?
valid contract if there is.
Can we continue on with our job here at the city council?
Yes, ma'am. I
Thank
got
you.
one more
All
thing.
right.
Now, what you telling me is he can still work, he's gonna get paid for do his job.
I think he has a valid contract, and if he shows up to the
Okay,
job, he should be
signed
getting.
ballot contract.
Can I say something?
Yes,
Do I need
please,
to say? Okay.
please.
It's an employment agreement, and it is not signed, therefore it is not valid. And I think that's the end of the conversation
I
here.
think there was offer and acceptance.
But it
Okay,
is not signed.
I'm going to one more time, as presiding officer, please ask the table to stop cross-talking and let's move on with our agenda. Thank you.
That's exactly right.
All right.
That's exactly
Can I
right.
finish over here?
Hey,
You can talk at your council
We're gonna move
comments
on
at the
with our
end.
agenda tonight.
Eventually, but we need to finish what we're doing first.
I am finished talking about this.
Of course you are, because you think you're gonna start an investigation without approval from the council.
I don't have to have approval, sir.
Yeah, you do.
No, sir, I sure don't.
Why don't you?
I have not asked anybody in here to cooperate. I've asked you to cooperate, but you don't have to cooperate with that.
You
That
just
is
sat here,
totally up to you.
you just sat here earlier and just said that I'm just a voting person on the council. That's just
And
what
then I
you
said, I'm a mayor too, and that's two different
A
positions.
ceremonial mayor, I
So-
agree 100%.
Please, may we come to order and move on with our agenda now?
No, I
Read that.
don't know why we're not voting on this investigation.
They're calling her a ceremonial CFO, basically. She's the ceremonial CFO.
we can't make a motion or nothing, and Ken, I need one more time.
I
To
do.
stop this investigation.
Oh
Stop
my
this
God.
investigation.
Call him out of order.
You can't catch no
It's not
thing.
gonna be stopped.
Okay.
Out of order.
I mean, let's,
All right, anything else? Can we talk about golf carts? Marty is really biting at the bit there to talk to us about some golf carts.
This is really, I mean, I'm going around the table, this is a valid contract.
It's an agreement.
It's a legal contract.
Okay, no cross-talking, guys,
That's-
I'm sorry. We're gonna have to move on. This is not productive.
Then we're not hiring an
We have
investigator to
just-
do anything.
We just,
We're
we're
not
not
bringing
hiring
it-
anybody to do anything.
we're not
We're
bringing
getting
an
more pro
investigator.
bono, it's not costing
You're
you a
not taking
dime.
your pro bono person and bringing him in here to
Yep,
investigate.
absolutely. So,
Absolutely what?
absolutely, this person will be coming in and
So you're taking that authority by yourself?
I,
As a
by the
mayor?
city charter, yes,
You're
sir.
breaking the city
Sorry.
charter.
No, sir, I am going by city
Now
charter.
you're-
I've already, that's not my group, these are our citizens, and if you don't want to be part of our citizens, I'm sorry.
That goes
Point of
both ways.
order. Stop the cross-talking. Point of order.
All of you are citizens. Now, I'm gonna,
Point of order. Move on.
all of y'all are citizens, so listen. I am going to move forward with this, or we can adjourn. That's our choice.
So we adjourn.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second? No second? All right, let's move forward. Okay.
We need
So
to
Marty,
stay
would
on
you
until
like
we
to
get
come up
done
for
with it.
golf carts?
You just keep talking around it, man.
Sir, I am the presiding officer here. I am moving on with this. If you
Have
do
them
not want to
removed.
move on with this, you can step out of the meeting.
Oh, I
Okay?
can.
Absolutely. Because I'm moving on.
Why don't you step out and I'll sign the contract?
You do whatever you want with that contract. I'm moving on. Marty,
can he
you're
sign
up.
the contract, Mr. Miller?
No. Not on mine, no. I'm perfectly capable.
But
Come on,
you're
Marty.
jeopardizing the city for a loss.
All right. Last time. If y'all crosstalk one more time, I'm gonna ask if we can actually remove somebody so we can actually get on with business, sir.
That's right. She can do that.
Ask the man in green
You have to have a vote of the council
to remove
to
it.
a council member.
That is absolutely the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard, and I have actually seen y'all take
We
them out
don't need to.
on
We don't
hours
need to
work.
talk to the audience.
So,
Citizens.
okay.
Council members.
Citizens. I've seen actually other cities that
Citizens.
have them taken out. But that's okay, this is all good. I have no problem with this. I am telling you, we are moving on or we're adjourning as presiding officer. So you make your decision
That's right.
now.
There you go.
If you want to adjourn, I'll need a motion for adjourn. If I don't hear a motion for adjourn in a second, we're going to move on to our golf carts. Okay, let's move on to golf carts one more time. Marty, come on. Hurry. Or anything else can stand. Okay. Thank you, sir, for coming up and talking to us about golf carts.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, after a couple of meetings ago, we had talked about bringing back the registration process for golf carts. We drafted some stuff in here and a new application and stuff like that to, get it back online. And y'all saw it in the packages, you've had a chance to read over it, any questions on it or anything?
I do actually have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
What about 15th Street? Are we not going to be allowed down 15th
Well,
Street
that
anymore?
was brought up today, but there's also an ordinance that's 689 that goes over that and takes care of operating on any street in the city of Mexico Beach except for Highway 98.
Okay, thank you. That was my only question on this.
I have a question.
Yeah.
To me, it's like we're defining golf carts as one thing, the vehicle that travels 20 miles or less, and the low-speed vehicles is 25 or more. But they have different...
25 or less.
25, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not to exceed 25.
They can't operate over 25 miles an hour, but they can operate on a roadway that's 35 miles an hour or less.
So the rules are different for
Yes,
them?
ma'am.
Okay. So, looking at the registration form, should there be two different registration forms?
There's no registration for an LSV. It already has a Florida state tag on it, insurance, they're paying for it.
So the golf cart doesn't need, it needs liability, but not,
Golf cart doesn't need liability unless the city requires it.
because under this golf cart registration form, it says, advised to obtain liability insurance for the cart.
I haven't read that in any of the ordinance or anything that is required as a process for it and everything. But I think to start off with, the form was a little misconstrued on the low-speed vehicle and the golf cart, and there was a little bit of combination, but we're gonna get all that worked out before we come up with the final draft to sign off on and everything else.
So a low-speed vehicle has to have liability insurance plus personal injury insurance?
I think it's just PIP. It's just like the motorcycle has to have $10,000. But it's registered through the state, regulated through the state. We know whose tag it is. It belongs to them, just like a regular vehicle. They have to have seat belts. They have to use them. Babies have to be in car seats. They can't be in laps on Highway 98 and everything else. So, yeah.
So when you do the stickers, will there be two different types of stickers?
No. No. If it's got an LSV, if it's an LSV and it has a Florida state tag on it,
gotcha.
it doesn't need a registration for the city.
Right.
It's state registered.
Okay. So if it's license plate, they don't have to have stickers.
Like driving a car down the road.
Yep, okay. That's what I thought.
Marty, under the, Lieutenant, under the, please read carefully. It does say, I have been advised to obtain liability insurance for the car.
All right, I'm going to take this moment. They've got council comments coming up at the end, so this is going to come up again. I anticipate this to be hot at the end. But I'm going to take this moment to thank a couple of sponsors. It's a hot time in Florida, and my friend Ryan can make sure your air conditioning is running at peak efficiency. He could even install a new one, built to a higher standard, American standard. Find out more at PCAirrepair.com.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
Okay, also, if you want to never miss a show, look, if you want to never miss a show and you want to see every show and every comment of the reporting of the Corruption Watch, Mexico Beach, Panama City Beach, Panama City, Lynn Haven, here's how you can get it every week on Friday. Friday night, I send it an email, a newsletter email. You'll never miss a show. It's all in the email, bernie.substack.com. It's free. It takes 20 seconds to subscribe. You're going to love it. bernie.substack.com. There's also a way to express your support if you want to. All right, let's get back to the meeting. This is the editor of the local newspaper.
Low-speed vehicles and golf carts that are running around and have been running around in my neighborhood, what about those? Because they're supposed to be illegal.
Which kind of?
The John Deere Gators and,
No, if we find them, we will take care of that.
okay, there's a whole lot.
Because it has to be a golf cart that's meant for a golf course as a sporting event or whatever, not a utility vehicle or anything like that. It's a golf cart.
A lot of them are being trailered in over in my neck of the woods.
Yeah,
Okay.
If we find them, we get them.
As of July the 1st, didn't the state legislature raise the legal driving age of golf carts from 16 to 18? October 1st?
October 1st.
Okay, don't
Yeah.
forget that, because 16 years
Well,
old.
the city ordinance covers that, because you
Okay.
have to be 16 years or older with a valid license to operate a golf cart
Okay,
by ordinance.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, once again, I'm gonna ask, the identifying sticker that's supposed to go on these, would you please make those as large as the triangle sign that's on the back? The reason being, when we see the illegal activity with these golf carts that's going on, and it happens all the time, we can then identify that number. The sticker that we've used before, we can't read it.
So
I'm
maybe a
I'm
3.3
talking at least,
with a big number
I'm
on
talking this,
Yeah, city of
This
St.
size at
Joe
least.
is about, was it 5 by
Yeah.
7?
it? Yeah.
About yay big.
That seems reasonable.
make it
That's-
Make it
You don't have
read,
your
please.
numbers large.
Okay?
Can you see those numbers, Marty, can you see those numbers from?
Oh, yeah, they'd be
Oh,
reflected.
that's yours.
Can you see, St. Joe, can you see their numbers from?
Oh, yeah,
the
they're
distance?
reflective, you can see them at night or daytime and everything, so yes.
They're good, thank you. Any other citizens?
Rock Creek, Colorado Drive. Hope I'm not wasting my time here even talking about this, because it doesn't seem like anything got done for the last 2 months. And that's probably why Mr. Lindeman is no longer doing what he's doing. I hope you guys take care of something and don't let them things go down the wayside with his hard work he's put in. Anyway, on golf carts, because it seems everybody seems to be a little confused. I got an LSV golf cart. It had to go. They had to take the golf cart. It has to have a DOT windshield. It has to have every light that a car has, blinkers, the whole 9 yards. It had to be weighed. They had to change the gear ratio. It had to be certified to go between 20 and.
All right. Again, a reminder that the council comments are coming up at the end of this meeting. I don't know how much longer, but surely they're going to bring up again the fact that Mayor Miller refused to sign the agreement for the new city administrator until she's comfortable that there weren't any violations or irregularities in the hiring process, especially after 2 of the council meetings called the third candidate the day before the interview and intimidated him not to come to the meeting. And he was the second highest ranked guy. The guy sitting there was the third highest ranked guy. Wow. So she has said, I am bringing in a special counsel pro bono for a voluntary internal investigation until I am comfortable signing the contract. All right. So I don't want to miss the council comments. I want to give you another, let's see here. I want to give you another So I'm listening to the meeting while I'm talking to you to make sure you don't miss anything. And I want to take this opportunity just to thank 2 more sponsors so we don't miss anything when the council comments come up.
When your life is on the line, hire the lawyer who lives in our community, works in our community, and worships in our community. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
All right, let's get back to the meeting where they're finishing up on a golf cart ordinance.
Liability insurance on golf carts, would that protect the city or just protect that person if they hit something, or?
It's not gonna
do
it's
anything.
not gonna protect the city.
Like if they run over something or stop sign, we have to replace, I don't know.
Well, you protect the city in that regard, there'd be some insurance that if they have property damage.
But we would catch them. Yeah, so I don't know about the insurance. Yes, sir, come on up, sorry.
I think we could require whatever you want it to require, to allow them to drive.
John Harrell, 43 First Street. Why are we registering the cars?
You're registering the carts for identification purposes.
For what reason?
For reasons, for violations in the city and stuff like that. We also have people with homes that they rent. They also rent the golf carts with the homes.
Right.
And they drive them down and park in places they're not supposed to park, and they're operating in places they shouldn't ought to be operating, and stuff like that. But if we find them over there, we have no way of finding out who that cart is, whose belongs to, who we can write a city citation to, or anything like that. It's real hard trying to, keep up with it.
Well, I mean, if they're parked somewhere they're not to be, right?
Yes, sir.
Could we just put a boot on them? And then they gotta come to you, and then we can file them. Without, the reason I mentioned that, now let's do some other reason. Us citizens are now gonna have to register our carts, we're gonna have to pay a fee. It just seems like it's nickel and diming us. And before you know it, because if I'm not mistaken, last year, the former council and the former city administrator was to make this town a golf cart community. And that's one reason we lowered the speed limits in town, wasn't it? 20 miles? No? Okay. That's
City can make that.
No, I know that, but I thought it was for the purpose of becoming a golf cart community. So now we're trying to make it a golf cart community, but now we're gonna charge people to have a golf cart is what I'm saying. If we could put a boot on somebody, if they're parked on 98 with no license plate, charge them $75, I think that will send the message. But if you're saying there's other reasons, I just want to know what they were. I mean,
It's not my ordinance, sir.
Who gave it to?
For discussion.
Who gave it? The council? Okay. So council, that's my question. Why are we doing this
Let me say
as
this.
a citizen?
I can logically understand this. I've seen golf carts whizzing down the street, and if I'd been able to see a number, I could call him and say, hey, these people were just whizzed down the street,
Okay, but are you able to do something if you don't witness that?
Well, we get to find out who it is. We can actually go talk to them and everything else.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not always the person that actually owns the golf cart.
No, I know that.
They have kids, they have grandkids, and those little kids get out and riding around and everything.
Right, I
else.
understand
We
that.
have no idea who he is.
Okay, here's in America, they shouldn't have to register the golf carts because this is what I call the setup, okay? And you see this all the time in America. This is very important when it comes to public policy on anything. I call it the setup, how government uses other people's bad behavior to control you, okay? We saw it with healthcare. 15% of Americans didn't have healthcare. Many of them didn't need it. Many of them didn't want it. Therefore, everybody was required under Obamacare to get healthcare, right? You see it with so many things. Because some people aren't following the law, everybody gets ensnared into anti-constitutional stuff. Of course, a police officer is supposed to see the infraction. I disagree with Mayor Miller on this one. I think it's wrong to force everybody to again, nickel and diming people. For God's sake, do you know in Panama City Beach, the budget for next year is $240 million? $100 million more than last year? Oh my gosh. In 2022, the budget in Panama City Beach was $60 million. 2023, it was $140 million. At a time like this, it is now $240 million. Nickel and diming the people as though we are in an economic boom. So, this is a bad idea. When you have a bunch of snitches calling the sheriff's office, first of all, if you knew about the sheriff's office, we can go talk to them. If you see somebody breaking the law and you're a law enforcement officer, then you go give them a ticket. You put the boots on them if that's what you. But to be able to just call and say, "Hey, I saw this golf cart whizzing by," and then the sheriff's office can go talk to them. because sometimes people too young are driving the cart, so everybody has to pay. The setup. Government does it all the time. I remember it was big for a while where FHP would pull everybody over and say, I need to see your driver's license. Just because you're driving, not because they saw you do anything wrong. And the reason was because 5% of drivers don't have the driver's licenses. Therefore, everybody gets ensnared. The setup. How government uses other people's bad behavior to control you. This is a bad idea. And that gentleman was correct.
Need it where you can say, go down and look at the park or go up here at the city, and there's the rules. I know the legal people that are going to get their registrations, that's not the ones we're worried about. It's the ones that just keep coming down, they're not going to get registered. And these guys need something to be able to back up and say, we're going to make you pay if you can't follow our rules. But yeah, I'd like to see the rules posted somewhere where people can just go and look at it, because we are a golf cart community. They're not going anywhere, they just keep coming.
We discussed before, like people over in Gulf County come over here. I don't know that we can enforce that. I mean,
It's your city ordinance, man, you know.
I mean, can
Operating
you
on the
ask
streets
them
of
to,
Mexico Beach, it should
how are we gonna be able to identify, or let them, how are we gonna be able to let them know that they have to have these stickers if they're gonna be riding over here?
The same way as we've been doing the Mexico Beach people. We wrote a bunch of warning citations. I've got a whole folder in there full of warning citations. It could have been tickets.
Bad idea.
Education and,
precedents.
set a precedence, and then after you write a few tickets, sometimes people will get the word out. It don't take long, like dogs on the beach. It's been a whole lot better for a while now.
Yeah, that's true.
But we've also addressed the UTVs, ATVs and stuff like that with out-of-state tags and stuff like that. But as far as Florida statute is, they're not covered in the state of Florida. They're legal where they come from.
Yes, sir.
Hi, John Albaugh from 209 Virginia Drive. Completely support the ordinance. I question the need to charge a citizen. I think that we can do this for citizens with a valid ID or a valid 2 forms of bills or whatever that says they have a residency here in Mexico Beach. We can do it for free. I think that would be better for the citizens that live here. I've been around the military my entire life. We've been registering vehicles at zero charge. So it's not that onerous of a task. So I don't see and the stickers don't cost that much either. So,
I agree with the resident. If they're going to pass this law, don't put it on the citizens.
Of course, 25, yeah. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
That covers
Don't
costs.
we have something?
It covers costs of inspection. You
Yeah.
gotta come down there, your car's gotta be inspected to make sure it has everything. And like the ordinance also.
Well, then that should be in the city's budget. If the city wants to do this, look, don't continue to require permits and so on and so forth and keep charging citizens. If the city's going to do something that's onerous, then the city should pay for it in their own budget. Make room for it if it's this damn important.
It's to cover that inspection fee. Take somebody to go outside, to go out there and inspect the car. Get the information.
Put it in the budget
get it
then.
in the computer and everything else. It's not my deal, but I can't explain it all day long. It takes money to do stuff like this. You have to pay somebody to do it, because otherwise they're doing their job and another job on top of it. Just say. Yes.
This is how government grows, and this is how citizens are nickeled and dimed to death.
The city allowing golf carts on US 98 will prove to be catastrophic. My understanding is, and I believe you have explained it, you just may have missed it, that it will only be LSVs that are allowed on 98, that no golf carts allowed anywhere near 98. That is a state law that we as a city, even if we wanted to, could never change.
They can't cross the highway without
That was my answer to him. I just wanted to double check I wasn't wrong and to maybe clarify that.
the signs that we have on the outskirts of town are low-speed vehicles. They maybe cut the golf bag off the back of it just so it wasn't a golf cart. But it's a low-speed vehicle. It's registered by the state. It can operate on the roadway 35 miles an hour or less. It's got everything that a regular car has. It gets the same tickets as a car gets. It's the same thing. But it can't go over 35 or 25 miles an hour speed.
Which is stupid.
Which
It should be 30,
It
35.
should be 30, 35, but then you also can't modify it to go faster.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
Well,
gonna be,
you'll get a ticket.
you'll be getting ticketed.
All right, any other public?
I had one more
Discussion?
question.
Yes, ma'am.
I think there's still some confusion about being able to drive at night, like none of them should be able to ride at night, right?
LSVs can drive at night. They have lights, they have blinkers, they have everything that they're
And they
supposed
could be
to
on
have.
Highway 98 at
They
night.
go Highway 98 at night. The golf cart, and no bueno. After dark, you got to, it's taking home before dark.
So is that a state law or is that
Yes.
okay,
And it's also in your ordinance too.
yeah. But I just wondered, I mean, we have opportunity to put an ordinance out there. I have been asked before by residents, if I go over to my friend's house and I don't get home by dark,
But we have some discussions and pull up the laws and make sure we got everything we can. And if we can, put it for an ordinance and bring it before y'all, we can do that too.
if they have lights and stuff, they can't, even on a golf cart, if they have lights and blinkers and all that, they can't drive at night, is that correct?
Regular golf cart, no. LSV, yes, because it's registered with the state and
Gotcha.
as a motor vehicle with all the proper safety equipment.
Gotcha. Anybody, any other public comments, discussion? Okay, I'll close the public discussion, move to the table. Ms. Wendell, you want to start?
I'm just still concerned that, maybe these people that are renting houses, do they really understand the difference between a basic golf cart and a low-speed vehicle? Like, do they understand that?
They should, but also with the registration and everything, you're gonna get the rules of the road and everything else and be able, because there's a lot of people here from out of state that have actually came and registered their golf carts in Florida instead of being in golf carts registered in Georgia. We've got Georgia state law that, we keep on hand to be able to fact check some of the, I didn't know that, I'm not from around here.
Yeah.
So they have the same registration type deal up there with tags and everything else. There's some communities up there that go everywhere with golf carts. They have actual golf cart paths through cities and things like that. But, it's LSV and a golf cart are two different things. And, if, anybody's got any questions, we answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mr. Smith?
How you doing?
Hey,
If we're gonna rewrite the ordinance, and then we're gonna throw in there 15th Street somewhere along the line, but that's another thing, in our ordinance, see if we can't, we need to throw that, make sure we can treat everybody equal. If it's doing right 15th Street with a triangle, we can do it. And, that's all we're gonna do, just write the ordinance.
Put it all in one ordinance, but, like I said, they had the first ordinance, the second ordinance repealed that one and actually said that you can operate on 15th Street with a triangle.
We'll try.
So get it all put into one, repeal everything else, and have a fresh start on all of this.
Only thing for me is I'd be curious to know the rest of the council's opinion on owners or residents having to pay or treating them like the boat ramp where they're exempt. I just want to know, I'm open either way. I'd like to hear a discussion of what you guys think.
I was gonna ask, wasn't there something that we did?
Boat ramp.
So it's the boat ramp, they don't have to pay? That's it.
Yeah, my side of it is we did put some money in the budget as we put a number on this. So I think that we ought to, if it's for identification, I really think it ought to be a one-time fee. Get the excuse me, because there is a cost to do it. So we've covered the cost of $25, have a one-time fee, they'll be identified, and that's it.
The city ought to cover the cost if you're going to force citizens to do it. Carve it into the budget if you're going to force them to do it. Cover the cost. So you make a new permit and requirement, and then you say the citizens have to pay for it. That's how government grows.
Right. We're gonna have the same, excuse me,
I was pointing you out.
Miss Linda, I ain't getting ahead of you.
No.
Okay.
Well, if there's money in the budget that would help with that, because Marty.
There you
was
go.
concerned about the expenses on the stand.
Yes.
Extra hours and stuff.
And that's where the money that is collected for the sticker, that's what's in the budget, yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's what's considered.
That's what I stated.
So it's not there yet till we collect that money. Okay, got it.
But the $25 is not that bad now, I mean, really. I mean, everything's bad if you charge it, but, and I know the city, but
If it ain't that bad, then you endure the cost. If it ain't that bad, then you absorb the cost. It ain't that bad.
change every year. People change. I don't think the $25 hurt the citizens. It might be. I might get my house.
Keep piling on. Everywhere you turn, they're piling on cost to citizens.
I think I like the $25. I think it ought to be done every year.
Local, county.
And
Jeez,
drive
man.
the orders.
It's not a revenue thing, it's not a revenue thing, so we don't need it every year. It's not a thing that we need revenue. It's a thing that we need to cover the cost for what we do, and that's why I've suggested 1 year.
Then you pay for it.
Go ahead.
I was the clerk here when we got rid of the ordinance, so I know you were gonna point that out. I see you
Your
smiling.
signature.
Yeah. I didn't like it because I thought it was a waste of time for the amount of money it made the city, and that's why I wanted to get rid of it. Now, taking the money side of it and actually being able to know who it is and a registration of it, maybe it is a good idea that we bring it back. But that's why I'm curious what the council's opinion was on charging that fee to residents.
And then there's many more golf carts out there now than cover
Yeah.
that period of time you're talking
If I could
about.
make one more comment, the other thing is you might want to look at is like vehicles. People sell them and trade them all the time. So it might not belong to that person next year.
Yeah.
That would be a point on registering every year. Even if you reduce the registration fee or whatever, it's not me.
Are you not tired of government forcing permits and registrations on every damn thing and then charging you for it? Come on.
So it changes every year. Our carts get traded, bought, sold, and everything else.
The public is already.
Can I add one thing with what he's
Are
saying?
y'all okay with him? Okay, yes, sir, please. Come on up.
You're talking about the fee and going back reading, I know why you did away with it, because somebody had to come out and inspect everything. Why would you even have to inspect the golf cart? Because if it gets stopped and you give them, they come down and get the registration, charge them $10, $10 a year. Get the sticker, here's your sticker, here's the rules, here's what you gotta do. If they get stopped for something and they're driving, they don't have the lights, they don't have anything else, the deputy's gonna look at that. They'll write them the tickets for that. There's no reason why somebody has to waste their time to come out and look at a golf cart, make sure the lights work, do this, do that. Just come up here, like I come up and get my sticker for the boat ramp, and you come up here and you go, here you go, here's where I live, here's my money, I want a sticker, and you give them the sticker and the rules, and now, if they don't follow it, they're screwed when they see the deputy. Simple. Make it easy. $10 a year, and they keep it registered every year, ain't a big deal.
I think it leads to a little confusion there, because the person's gonna go, I went in, I went and got a decal, and now I'm driving on the road, and you said I could, because I got the decal. I think it would lead to a little confusion.
Go over the rules with them, they sign off, you understand all the rules is down here and everything. But, like I said, on the part where it's under inclement weather, stuff raining.
Remember, all of this is because some people are not following the rules. So because some people are not following the rules, they want to ensnare every golf cart owner for more onerous regulations and costs. It's the setup, how government uses other people's bad behavior to control you. We should oppose this at every turn, at every level of government.
So what about inspections? Is that something?
No inspection.
Where y'all are, okay, I was confused because I hadn't heard that there were any inspections.
Code enforcement used to go out and inspect it every time you got a permit. And it was
Mr. Hubbard's done that before.
Okay. Anything else?
We're gonna call it up.
You want to, do we want to make a motion?
I think, do we need to make a motion, or do we
You
just
just
bring
need-
us an ordinance?
You just need to give
Well,
us
just
direction as
ordinance.
to what you want
Well,
us
it's
to
on
do.
here, the motion.
Yeah.
Well, we can get a motion to get an ordinance, how's that?
So moved.
So, write the ordinance and bring it back to the city council for
Yes,
review.
ma'am.
With like
Well, what changes is, you know,
Oh.
do you want $25? The spines are 50, 75, 150,
We need to
and then I
make a
guess after
motion.
that's 500, and they take a sticker away.
If somebody wants to make a motion of how this should be looked, we will.
I could write it with options in it, and you
Yeah.
guys can decide it when the ordinance comes back in front of you.
And we can correct it then and before we approve it for the last time. Does that work? All right, works for me. All right, works for Mr. Jerry, so I think we can move on. Okay, so next is ordinance 811, variances, first reading. And Carmen's not here, but Laura's going to address this.
Good evening. I'm Laura Mills-Dutcher, and I'm with the Planning Collaborative, and I'm here on behalf of Carly tonight. She couldn't be here, unfortunately. But this is an ordinance to put language into the Land Development Code regarding...
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Let's say what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the broadcast. Don't be dramatic. Don't adjourn the meeting. I'm going to stop the broadcast right now, and I'm going to keep an eye on the meeting. And when the council comments come at the end of the meeting, right, I'll come back on live tonight. So it could be after this presentation. Maybe it's a little, I don't know how long this is going to go. But I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll start another live stream, and we'll watch the council comments about what Mayor Miller did tonight. And she said, I'm not signing the contract for the new city administrator because I want to make sure that the hiring process was followed and that no other candidates were intimidated to come in. So she is going to bring in a qualified special counsel, a lawyer, who will do a voluntary, investigation pro bono, which for Jerry Bad Liability Smith means at no fee. And the results will be shared, of course, with the council and the public. And at that point, they'll know if something was wrong or not. Were there sunshine law violations? We're going to try to find out. Also, why is the annual budget late? And why is the CFO not able to see the invoices? All right, so we'll be back in a little bit with the council comments at the end that are sure to be hot.